Hello and welcome back to an episode of Generation Films. My name is American Ben. The world is a pretty crazy place. Life is a constant battle to survive in nature where only the fittest persist and prosper. Brute strength has historically been a preeminent factor in indicating which species live to see another generation. But so too is intelligence, an important attribute one can employ in the quest to stay alive. Smarts help creatures build tools, plan ahead, and most importantly, stay out of the way of danger. Yes, many human beings in history have managed to avoid death by keeping a low profile and being cautious. But hey, the world is a brutal, unforgiving place, and sometimes you just gotta say screw it and answer chaos with chaos. And on that note, today we are honoring those testosterone-fueled, slightly unstable pioneers who threw themselves into the fire because hey, you only live once anyway. Better to die a legend than live forever as a footnote. These are the top YOLO moments in sci-fi history. At number 7 is Sergeant Todds' Badassery in the film Soldier. As the completely original story of Soldier goes, in 1996 the government created a super soldier program in which they inducted promising orphan infants into the military and trained them to be soulless killing machines. Sergeant Todd 3465 emerged as the best of the 1996 class of the program. But as all Windows users are already familiar with, there will always be upgrades that offer more features but ultimately make shit way worse. In 2036, a new line of genetically enhanced, ever more sociopathic super soldiers was introduced by the military and replaced the 1996 group. Some of Todd's men were killed by the new soldiers and others were relegated to menial duties. Todd, thought to be one of those killed, was discarded onto a garbage planet where he was taken in by human colonists stranded there. Eventually, the new super soldiers showed up on the planet for training purposes and decided to use the colonists for target practice. Now you have to understand, these soldiers were imposing foes. Just one of them could take on many soldiers of the inferior 1996 class at once. Now if Todd was going to help the colonists here, he probably would have been smartest to try and plan an escape. But nope, instead he decided to face them down, all of them, alone. He painted his face, weaponed up, and delivered the most YOLO line in movie history.
What are you gonna do?
I'm going to kill them all, sir.
Super soldier gonna super soldier. He went in guns blazing and took every single one of them out. It made no sense, but YOLO does not obey the laws of physics. At number 6, we have Worf during the Battle of Sector 1. This battle began when a Borg cube attempted to assimilate Earth. Little aggressive, Borg. Starfleet attacked the cube in the defense of the planet, and ships such as the USS Endeavour, USS Bozeman, and the USS Defiant, which was captained by Commander Worf, joined the fray to set up a defense perimeter. Unfortunately, the cube was able to break the perimeter and continue on its path to Earth. The Starfleet ships engaged the cube valiantly, damaging its outer hull and disrupting its power grid. However, Starfleet was also sustaining heavy losses, and without reinforcements, victory was beginning to seem improbable. This is when Worf, on the heavily damaged USS Defiant, decided to order his crew to ram his ship into the cube.
Main power's offline, we've lost shields, our weapons are gone.
Perhaps today is a good day to die. Prepare for ramming speed!
I mean, the Defiant had a warhead module that made up the nose of the ship that it could use as a last resort weapon, but Worf instantly went for the suicide option. Now luckily the USS Enterprise showed up in time to save the day, but ramming is a classic tactic of the professional YOLOist. This is an example of how crazy religious beliefs can inspire some of the best YOLO moments. As a Klingon, Worf believed that in death he would join Kahless, basically Klingon Jesus, in Sto-vo-kor, Klingon Heaven, where he would fight an endless glorious battle. Klingons also believe that the only honorable way to die is in battle, which of course is a great ingredient for YOLO as well. At number 5, we have Rico against the tanker bug in Starship Troopers. A very important rule of YOLO is that you cannot hesitate to consider the consequences of your actions. You just gotta YOLO. It's all about being a glorious idiot, and sometimes that's what makes for the best leader. During the first bug war, the mobile infantry was sent to the planet Tango Urilla to clear out a horde of bugs. The attack began with an airstrike that was followed up by a ground invasion to clear out the rest of the horde. The mobile infantry's morale wasn't exactly at a high during this battle, as they were a relatively green force and had just survived the disastrous Battle of Klendathu, during which hundreds of thousands of their fellow soldiers were torn apart by the arachnids. The Roughnecks were a tough bunch, but they weren't exactly an inspired platoon given the bleakness of the war against the bugs. This is probably why when a massive tanker bug rose from the ground of Tango Urilla during the invasion, most of them took off to find cover. Rico probably should have as well, but alas, YOLO. The Roughnecks needed a leader to step up, so he climbed up a rock, jumped onto the bug's back, blew a hole in its shell with his Merida assault rifle, held onto the tanker like a rodeo cowboy, tossed a grenade into the hole, and jumped off just as it exploded, annihilating the bug and sending orange blood raining down everywhere, quenching Rico's thirst for glory. Yeah, I'm awesome. At number 4, we have Poe Dameron's assault on the Fulminatrix. Poe Dameron is a hell of a pilot. Wedge Antilles. His skills in the cockpit are obvious, but it's his lack of fear that really puts him over the top. Following the destruction of Starkiller Base, the Resistance commenced an evacuation from their base onto Kar. However, before they could get their fighters to safety, a fleet of First Order starships led by General Hux's Fulminatrix, a Manticore IV-class siege dreadnought, exited hyperspace and arrived on the scene. With the permission of General Leia Organa, Poe Dameron confronted the dreadnought in his X-Wing, with the plan being to taunt Hux and buy enough time to power up his fighters' cannons and attack the dreadnought while the Resistance evacuates. Flying solo against the massive Fulminatrix, Poe took out the latter's point defense cannons, and though the First Order managed to destroy the base on Kar, most of the fighters got away safely. With the Resistance successfully evacuated, Leia ordered Dameron to retreat, but a true YOLOist will disobey orders when necessary. Or not when necessary, more like when unnecessary but feeling heroic and suffering from temporary insanity. Thus, Poe refused to retreat and continued his assault on the Fulminatrix, allowing Resistance bombers to come in and finish off the ship. At number 3, we have Neo stopping bullets in the Matrix. Okay, yeah, it's kind of hard to call this one a YOLO moment because, well, I mean, Neo had just recently died and resurrected, so maybe this is more of a YOLT, or you only live twice moment. Still, when Neo was cornered in a hallway by a bunch of agents, he didn't exactly know the full extent of his potential. He was only beginning to believe. So it was pretty ballsy of him to just be like, wait, maybe I can stop bullets rather than trying to just dodge them. YOLT. Fortunately for him, it worked. He stopped the bullets and then proceeded to eat the soul of one of the agents. I kind of felt bad for the guy, actually. Still, unless you're fully willing to accept the consequences of the true YOLO artist, don't try this at home. You'll stop the bullets, but you'll also die. At number 2, we have Bobby Draper's daring feat on the Guan Xiyin in The Expanse. Christian Avasarala, Kotyar Ghazi, and Bobby were all stuck on Jules Pierre Mao's ship, the Guan Xiyin, and were trying to escape. However, because of an activated security measure, they couldn't access the shuttle bay in order to board the Razorback, a racing pinnace. I imagine at this point most people would have huddled up and tried to brainstorm how to override the security system or come up with some sort of alternate option. After all, there was an additional dropship on board which Kotyar ended up using to escape. However, Bobby is a Marine. She's taught to make quick decisions when there's not a lot of time to act. So she went YOLO. She used the minigun in her armor's van brace to blow a hole in the bulkhead of the ship, exited into space, scaled the side of the ship using the maglocks in her gloves and boots, and almost died before finally reaching the shuttle airlock door from the outside. Using her strength, and yes, some of the suits as well, she opened the door, and from inside the bay she was able to let in her comrades. It's hard to say whether this was a necessary stunt on Bobby's part or not, but this was definitely a YOLO moment, and she gets an A+ for style. The Expanse is filled with YOLO moments, of course, such as the intrepid belter Mineo flying his ship directly into the ring gate, or any time someone pisses off Bobby Draper. Finally, at number 1, there's only one option. Master Chief giving the Covenant their bomb back. The YOLO moment so badass it had to be remastered. Master Chief has a lot of YOLO moments. Dude has a straight toxic mentality. But none combine stupidity and badassery better than his actions during the Covenant's assault at the onset of the battle for Earth. An antimatter charge placed on Cairo Station was recovered by the UNSC before detonation and was deactivated. Now there's a lot of things the UNSC could have done with the bomb. Study it, disassemble it, replicate it. But again, YOLO is all about a lack of hesitation and critical thinking. So Master Chief had other ideas.
Sir, permission to leave the station.
For what purpose, Master Chief?
To give the Covenant back their bomb.
Permission granted.
He opened an airlock door, grabbed hold of the bomb, and hung onto it as it was pulled out of the bay into vacuum. He rode the bomb through the war zone, just barely avoiding all sorts of explosions, gunfire, and energy beams all around him. He descended into one of the Covenant's assault carriers through a break in its hull and detonated the bomb before kicking off from it just in time to get far enough away to escape the explosion, which resulted in the obliteration of the carrier. It was a suicidal stunt, but Master Chief had that look in his visor that said, I look so cool right now. Anyways, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I know I missed tons of YOLO moments, so please do mention them in the comments down below. God damn, those dogs barked a lot through this video. And I'm gonna have my own YOLO moment right after I cut this video. Yeah, remember to subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you next time. Generation Films, peace.